Good evening, my name is Josh, and the topic we're discussing is terminally ill patients should have a right to physician-assisted suicide. First, I'd like to define what terminally ill is and physician-assisted suicide. Terminally ill is a person who is sick and is diagnosed with a disease that will take their life. So that means they're diagnosed with something and eventually, basically their diagnosis is death. Physician-assisted suicide is suicide by patient-facilitated means or information provided by a physician. So the patient goes to see a physician and the physician assists with either like medications or other alternatives in order to make it a painless death. First, our solvency claim is that the United States should adopt the Death with Dignity Act. Our significance claim is that people have the right to decide the conditions by which they end their life. And the inherency claim is that physician-assisted suicide provides a safe method of suicide. So I'd like to go back to the solvency claim. Recently here in California, Jerry Brown just signed the End of Life Option Act on October 5th, 2015. So basically, it's the same as other acts that have been passed in Washington and Vermont and Oregon. That is physician-assisted suicide. One thing Governor Brown said in signing his statement is, "I don't know what I would do if I were dying. I prolonged and excruciating pain. I am certain, however, that it would be a comfort to be able to consider the options afforded by the bill, and I wouldn't deny the right to others." Some of the other laws that have already been passed, like I said, in Oregon, Washington, or Vermont. Here's some of the basic guidelines in order for anybody to even be eligible for physician-assisted suicide. They must be a resident of that state, so whether it be Oregon, Washington, Vermont, and now California. They must be 18 years of age. They must be mentally competent, so that means they must be able to make their own decisions. And they also have to be diagnosed with a terminal illness that will lead to death within 6 months. And the Washington state, they passed it back in 2008, so it's already been 7 years. And since it's been implemented, there has been no credible legal challenges. So that means most people are agreeing with it and there is no real loopholes and nobody's really arguing against it. Next, I'd like to go to the significance claim. And that's some facts that were given were by Oregon's Public Health Department. And the top reason that people choose physician-assisted suicide is losing autonomy, which means like they're basically losing like bodily functions and all that stuff. Another high factor in the reasons why they did, according to Oregon, was that people choose it for the decreasing ability to engage in enjoyable activities. They also are losing dignity, losing control of their bodily functions, and becoming a burden on others. And only 23% named physical pain or fear of possible physical pain as a reason. So for the most part, it's not just, oh, I'm in pain, I just want to die, blah, blah, blah. There's more reasoning behind it. Like, obviously, they're almost a vegetable. They're laying there just waiting, and they're not able to function and actually enjoy life. That's the most common reason. Also, within the United States, they already did a Gallup poll done by USA Today, and it found that nearly 70% of Americans already agree with this, and that people should be able to choose if they're on their deathbed when they could have it done, instead of wondering, okay, tomorrow I might kind of die, is it going to be next week? And also your family's on edge. You're more like, oh, I need to be near them all the time, and it's not a lot of restlessness. And a lot of people often say that critics make much of the fact that just 1 in 4 cited pain as their end of life is concerned. But individuals should not have to conform to someone else's idea of what is too painful to live with in the last few months of their lives. So how are we supposed to decide if somebody's in pain or if they're not able to function? It's only the person themselves that can decide that. It's nobody else's, it should be nobody else's decision. And nearly 90% of them, according to USA Today, cited that losing ability to engage in enjoyable activities was the main reason once again. So then back to the inherency claim. Data from various places, according to the New England Journal of Medicine, found that the implementation of physician-assisted suicide, when accompanied with certain safeguards, does not lead to uncontrolled expansion or abuse. So it's not like people are willingly just abusing it and saying, I woke up today and I want to kill myself and I'm going to go to a physician and just do it. It doesn't work like that. So there's not a lot of abuse in it, and so that makes it safer in a way that people are just able to go to them. And then also it was found that within Switzerland, the number of physician-assisted suicide has risen, obviously because that's now an option, but the total number has declined. So overall, suicides are going down because this was available to them.